Hiya, my name's Claudia and I'm a radical herbalist based in northwest London, and here I am in Hampstead Heath on the Lime Tree Avenue, and we're looking at loads and loads of old Linden Blossom, Limeflower, Tilia trees. They have many names. Basswood is another name. And this avenue was planted in the 1700s. I think it was in 1725. And then in 1999 there was a great storm and some of the trees were damaged. So some of the smaller ones have been replanted ones here. And there are about 30 varieties of species of the Tilia plant, and the most common ones to be used in herbal medicine are Tilia europea, yes, Tilia cordata, and cordata means heart-shaped, and they have heart-shaped leaves. Let me show you one of the leaves. Hold on, we'll go up to one and find one. Here's the heart-shaped leaf, and you can see this little leaf is very shiny, and it's a baby leaf. I'm eating it. It's very, very good for my constitution because I'm on drugs that make my mouth very dry, and I get dry eyes, and I'm in a medical menopause. So this drug is very moistening and lines the mucous membranes and really good for the kind of the dryness that I experience. So this herb has been used for thousands of years in medicine and has a rich history in Europe, and in Slavic culture the tree is called lipka or lipa, and it's sacred, and it's called a sacred plant. In the German city of Leipzig, that the city is actually named after the tree, and in Baltic mythology the goddess of fate Lema resides in the tree, incarnated as a cuckoo, and people talk to these trees and make offerings to them. In Greek mythology, the Scythian diviners take a leaf of linden and wrap it round their fingers. And in another Greek story, Chiron's mother, Philyra, transformed into a linden tree. So in herbal medicine, we use the flowers and the bracts as a medicine. Let me just see if I can find some. Just having a look. I did pick some and now I can't find some. I'll find some afterwards. So, energetic wise, this is a tree of Jupiter, and one of the ways we could tell it's a tree of Jupiter is because it's expansive. You can see, and that's the quality of Jupiter. And today, Thursday, is the day of Jupiter, so it's a day that medicines are made. It's a day that medicines are taken at particular times for particular parts of the body. It's also, I think, governed under Sagittarius. As an overview for the medicine, it's a stabilising medicine, and like other Jupiter herbs, it's a jovial herb. It makes you feel more jovial, or brings you towards that direction. It's a herb that's expansive, so it dilates blood vessels. It relaxes when you've actually expanded too much, like you've eaten too much food or you've had too much fat. These Jupiter herbs are very good for helping with over-excess and over-excessive behaviour. So in a lot of herbals, this plant's used for nervous hysteria, is what it used to be called. But when you're really beside yourself with stress and anxiety. It's also an antispasmodic, and that's from its relaxing properties as well. And because it relaxes smooth muscles of the blood vessels, it lowers high blood pressure that's due to stress. It's also an anticoagulant, so it's really useful for people who are stressed out and, perhaps have high blood cholesterol and have not had the healthiest diets possibly, or are very stressed and under pressure. Tilia is a wonderful herb for that. It's also a diaphoretic, which means that it helps break a fever and makes a fever more effective. And it's also been used for menopausal sweats. The family that the plant is in the Malvaceae family, which is the same as okra, and mulahia, which is a vegetable that's cooked in Egypt and I think in Turkey, and the leaves cooked throughout Africa and has different traditional names like ayoyo. And it's also related to things like marshmallow and hollyhocks. The young leaf can be eaten or put into juices and smoothies, and it's, as I said, it's very, very soothing. What I learned by reading about this plant this week is that the inner bark is made into a charcoal, and then that's used to treat leg edema and cellulitis and sort of conditions of the lower leg due to poor circulation. So this herb is definitely a circulatory plant. Bees make an exquisite monofloral honey out of it. If you're interested in some of the, so I'm just showing you more of the plants, if you're interested in some of the scientific information on the plant, I had a look at PubMed. Let me just have a look at my notes. Hiya. I'm just going to look at my notes that I wrote on studies of the plant. So the little nutlets, the fruits of Tilia, contain phytosterols, and they include carotenoids, tocopherols, tocotrienols, which are like sort of vitamin E's. They also contain squalene and beta-sitosterol. So those are anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, antioxidant oils. The hydroethanolic extract, which is like a water and alcohol tincture, in the labs was shown to be anti-inflammatory, anti-tumour, and quite powerfully strong against HPV. Now, a lot of these studies are in vitro, not in vivo, not in the body, so I'm not sure how they work actually once they're in the body. But we know that the polysaccharides, the long chains of sugars in the flowers, are immunomodulating. And then another extract made with methanol showed that the flavonoids were GABAergic, so they had properties of binding to GABA receptors, and they also were serotoninergic. Is that a word? That basically they affect mood. And one thing I also found out this week is that the herb, even though it's used as a nervous tonic, changes chemical constituents over the year, so it's like traditionally used within the year that you pick it. But if you leave the dried bracts and the flowers for over a year, then their narcotic properties become really strong, and they're not just like mildly sedative, they're really strongly sedative. I think we'll leave it there for now. I mean, it's the evening time in Hampstead, it's still quite busy, but I'm just gonna a bit of this. It goes on and on. You could walk down here for about 10 minutes and it's just lime trees. So goodbye all.